Hello everybody, welcome back to the Celestial Heart. My name is Samantha, and today is a very highly anticipated day because I will be sharing my 2018 bullet journal flip through. Yes, I am so excited to share this with you. A couple of things before we get started, and I bring you to the downward view. This is my third bullet journal of 3. I've been bullet journaling for 3 years now, and throughout that entire time, I've been using the Leuchtturm 1917 dotted grid in hardbound. This year's is in rose gold. I love this notebook for a lot of reasons. However, I am going to be switching out my notebook for next year. Secondly, I have not been using this bullet journal as much as I've used the other ones. Reason being, it has been a very tumultuous and challenging year. This was a year of a lot of growing pains, a lot of learning, and also a lot of anxiety, bordering on depression. But what got me through everything was my bullet journal. This thing has been my saving grace. It has allowed me to fully analyze my life from an objective standpoint without being too caught up in reacting or in a reaction mode. And for that, I'm very thankful. So, of course, as you may know, this video is probably going to be pretty long. So grab your cup of coffee and let's just get started. Hello, everyone. This is the downward view. Welcome, welcome. So first things first, this is the cover. I've already labeled it. This is volume 3, as you can see. I also try labeling the spine. There we go. And it's kind of dirty, so just ignore that part. Anywho's. All right. First thing you're gonna see when you flip over is the key page. So my key page is very much so similar to the original bullet method key or signifiers. Task completed, migrated, future log. And then I did a couple of things over here at the bottom that were more relevant to me. So note, important, check it out, birthday, gratitude. I use gratitude a lot. Also, I have a couple of color coding symbols over here for different things. It was particularly useful when I was in school, which was toward the beginning of the year. Here I have some personal information that I have, for obvious reasons, covered up. If you go next, nothing on here. Then we have my index. So my index is very simple right now. I haven't filled it up all the way through, but I think the index is something that definitely separates or has mixed opinions when it comes to the bullet journal community or the planning community. However, I personally am an index girl. I really like the index. I think that it's very useful. After reading Ryder Carroll's book, I also have seen the usefulness of doing custom indexes, which kind of separates a subject and indicates the pages related to that particular subject. I can go over indexes on a separate video because I am planning to do a bullet journal elements video for a more in-depth talk on how each element of the bullet journal works together. Next, we have here my painting of the year. So every year, before I start a bullet journal, I make a painting related to how I'm feeling or how the tone of the year is going about. So I used watercolor this time. I didn't paint directly on my notebook. I used watercolor paper, cut it, and then paste it on my notebook using like a glue runner. And so I absolutely fell in love with watercolors. Watercolors are amazing. They have a life of their own, but I think that's what gives the beauty of it. And then I also start the year off with a quote or a saying or something. This year it says, "We are stars wrapped in skin. The light you seek is within," because I do believe that we are souls, immortal spiritual beings living a temporary human experience, and that we are all made out of stardust and light and love, and that we're all connected to each other. Okay, next page is something that had very good intentions when it started off, but I didn't have the time to actually go about this. This was borrowed from Honey Roses, and it's essentially a memory spread, but what I was gonna do is I was gonna doodle and make some like, you know, fonts, calligraphy, and all that stuff. I did complete it in my 2019 setup, so you're gonna be seeing that in my next video, the completed version of this. Next page is my numerology. So I do my numerology, or write down my numerology in the beginning of my notebook every year. It has served me every year. I've been reading my numerology even before I started my bullet journal. And the reason is because I feel like that my numerology sets out like a general tone of the year, and it's easier for me to deal with things once I do read my numerology. What's so weird, like for example, it says inner voyage, year of learning, and a lot of reflection, for example, patience, all that came about this year. It was so true. Oh my goodness, there were so many times where I just had to slow down and like do some introspection, because this was the year after I graduated and I really wanted to figure out what I wanted to do moving forward. And because I read this again in the middle of the year, it just allowed me to let go and not worry about like looking for a job or anything like that. I just wanted to truly find out what was in my heart and what I thought was right for me. So all thanks to my numerology. If you are interested in looking up your own numerology, I do suggest the website creativenumerology.com. It's very useful. I'll link it down below. I will be skipping some pages, or not explaining all of the pages, just to let you know. This is my future log. So I set up vertical future logs. It definitely works for me. That way I can see the calendar of the entire month. Then I can also write out things that are relevant to that month that I have not set up in my monthlies. So over here, as you can see, I used it a lot for school. I have a lot of dates pertaining to when things were supposed to happen when it came to my school life. And then after that, I didn't use it too much. But it's very useful for things like that. I think I will be using my future log a lot more moving forward, because I have a lot of videos coming up. So you might want to subscribe, just letting you know. This right here is probably my favorite spread of the entire year, and it always has been ever since I started it. This is my happiness spread, or my happiness like brainstorm spread. I wrote happiness is, and then I separated my life into 8 categories. So self-care, relationships, home and environment, creativity and inspiration, adventure, career, contributions, and spirituality. So what I do is I write out things related to that particular area, and write out things that I would like to do, take action, new action, in order to experience happiness. So for example, you know, when it comes to relationships, calling more people, spending time with more people, self-care is like yoga 3 times a week. So these certain things that I know will make me happy, or even if I don't know, at least I think I have the inkling that it will make me happy. Okay. Next, based on my happiness spread right here, I create an intentions and goal spread. As you can see, I did not complete this one for 2018. I have completed it for my 2017 bullet journal, and that really spearheaded a lot of growth for me. Last year was probably one of the best years I've ever had. I manifested going back home to the Philippines after 10 years of not being there. And so right over here, I didn't finish it. And it kind of is an indication of like how crazy this year was. But I'll show you a different spread related to this one in the upcoming pages. Okay, this is my January setup. It is probably one of my favorite creative spreads that I've ever done. Sometimes my month setups are picture heavy, sometimes they're word heavy. So this one is a very picture heavy one. I just wrote some quotes and like words around it. Then I also have a flip in over here, has like my mission statement, and then one of the Ascended Masters, Kali. I have like a little kind of prayer to her. Next, this is my weekly spreads. So I don't really have that many elaborate like monthly spreads, but my weekly spreads can be elaborate because I can probably live off of just having a weekly and I'll be fine. A weekly and a future log and I'll be fine. Because the weekly really serves as an overview of what my week would be like. So the elements of my weekly is my tip tracker up here. I have my habit tracker up here for the miracle morning. I have my chores up here. And then over here in the blue ink is gonna be blank space journaling. So a bunch of different things when it comes to blank space journaling, just like writing how the day went. Then a heart would suggest gratitude. So all the things that I'm thankful for that day. And then over here at the bottom is gonna be my work schedule. So I am a restaurant server, I have 2 restaurant serving jobs. Then if I use the orange, so if I look back into my key right here, orange is for school, this relates to school specifically. So that's how you could use like some sort of a color code for your bullet journal. More of that stuff. January was a good month. This is what my dailies look like, and they vary depending on what I need them to be about. But this is more like a time-sensitive daily, wherein I lay out when I'm in school, when I'm in work, when I'm doing certain things in certain times of the day. And sometimes that really works for me to break down my day like that. Sometimes it doesn't. This one, for example, I have just a little time thing about my miracle morning, but everything else, as long as I get it done, I'm good. Okay, so this is my affirmation spread. I have 2 of them, page 33 and 34. So I like reciting affirmations every day. Over here, I just have some long form journaling. Sometimes I still include it over here, but I have since then moved my long form journaling into this traveler's notebook. This is where I do, excuse the cell phone, I do all my long form journaling now. Okay, so this right here is brainstorm, intentions, and sprints. If you know, the word sprints comes from Ryder Carroll's book, but this is kind of a brainstorm on how I wanted my YouTube channel to be or why I wanted to do it. So it's a lot of questions on reflections, really defining your reasons for why. When you do something like that, it clarifies a lot of stuff so that you can just move forward without thinking about it and without even debating with your ego and your laziness. So for example, over here, what about this intention sparked my curiosity? Why do I want to invest my time and energy into YouTube? What do I want to experience? What will it require? What is the indication that I am successful? And then some video ideas over here. So this actually is taken from Ryder Carroll's book, The Bullet Journal Method. Okay, this is February. This was a really tough month. I lost a friend. And sorry if it's a sensitive topic, but I lost her to suicide in the beginning of the year. Melissa, you are an angel. I am so happy that I met you, and you're just an inspiration, and I love you. So this is my February weekly. Still looks pretty similar right here. So this is when I kind of fell off. Couple dailies. More long form journaling. Okay, so this is March. I absolutely love this spread, but I actually didn't complete it. As you can see, I have some blank spaces over here. I decided to add a to-dos list, or like my month long tasks list essentially. And then I have like another flip in over here. I try to match my weekly color layout according to my monthly. So this particular case, I didn't do my blank space journaling, I didn't do my gratitude. Right here is my brainstorm on my personal brand when I was trying to look for a PR related job. This is April. I tried getting back on track. However, in April, as you can see, I do not have a cover page. I just went straight to April. And you see, for me, that's okay, because there are moments in life that we get so busy and we don't have time to make elaborate spreads or elaborate creative moments. Like sometimes life takes over, and that's okay. You have to make your bullet journal work for you in the best way you can in that moment. So a little bit of mindfulness definitely pulls through when it comes to bullet journaling. Don't pressure yourself to have all these elaborate spreads when the bullet journal is there to help you maintain the quality of your life despite what life throws at you. It's a chores list spread. So I wanted to make sure that I maintained a couple of chores every week. This was another spread on looking about trying to find a public relations job. And as you can see, I wasn't all that fully motivated about this. This was a big indication that I did not want to pursue anything in public relations just yet. And for those of you who are interested in knowing, essentially I have decided that I won't be looking for a public relations job, and I'm going to be focusing all my extra time and energy to this channel because it truly makes me happy. Again, May, there's no cover page again. I did use it a little bit. I loved this day. It was an amazing day. I spent the entire day with one of my good friends from college. Molly, I love you. Okay, this is what a dashboard might look like. So a week dashboard is essentially writing everything you need to get done for the entire week and not caring exactly when you get it done as long as it gets done. So you can transfer some of these into your dailies or into your weeklies so that you can tick each and every one of them off. Dailies. I have a brain dump on my habits. This is called a habit rebuttal. So if I have a bad habit, I refute it with something else. So for example, I'm not drinking enough water. Fill your hydro flask twice a day before work and before bed, and make sure that you drink all the water in your hydro flask. Should be doing that again, to be honest. June, I didn't use June. This was probably the craziest month. First of all, I graduated. Second of all, life happened, and that's when the anxiety just started creeping in like crazy. It was June. Whew! That was insane. Okay. So here I have goals for my YouTube channel, my miracle morning, a little more breakdown. Here's a brain dump. This is a random brain dump. See, sometimes my bullet journal is it needs to be messy, and that's okay. The messiness is what provides the clarity sometimes. Okay. Okay, so this is very interesting right here. This is when I was introduced to the concept of tethering. Right here down below it says page 130/36. So if I go back to page 36 that I showed you already, that's about the celestial heart, which is the name of my YouTube channel. So this spread is related to this spread. But I made this spread, the intentions on YouTube spread, before I read Ryder's book. Meaning I started implementing some of the things that he said about goal setting even before I started reading his book. But it gave me so much more clarity when I started tethering pages together. So essentially, if you want to start, let's say I want to do a custom index saying like YouTube, I can write down YouTube, page 36, page 130, and it's all related to my YouTube. So that is the beauty of a custom index. Next, I have the anatomy of miracle mornings. I'll probably do a separate video on miracle mornings altogether, but essentially it's silence, affirmations, exercise, read, and scribe, according to Hal Elrod. I like how my headers for my dailies looked over here. I used a gold gel pen over a black brush pen. This is when I started doing my covers again. I'm definitely gonna try my best to start doing my covers every month. Again, I won't be too hard on myself if it doesn't happen, but you know, it makes me feel so happy seeing like a cover completed, because it kind of sets the tone of the month, and August was a good month. So this is an example of a more word heavy monthly spread. Here I have my weekly routine and rhythm. When I have blocks of time that I know I will be off, for example, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm always off work, always, because those are my 2 days off between both of my jobs. How I managed to do that, I have no idea. But hey, it happened and I'm happy. So this is kind of like my routine or rhythm, when I do my chores or when I do my specific chores, what day, etc. This is like more planning for YouTube, morning, PM routine. This is an example of a week setup that doesn't need any elaborate detail whatsoever. I really wanted to try it, and it took me probably 20 minutes or less than that to write this all out. It's so simple. So this is just a clear example of how you really don't need elaborate, layouts. If you are pressed for time and you need to make something as simple as possible, break it down to its bare bones and you can have the same essence of it. Didn't use my weeklies too much in August. Kind of use it towards the end over here. I did use a lot of dailies, so. This is another affirmation spread, and as I mentioned before, it's also related to page 33 and 34. So for example, here, if I can just find a pen. Okay. Example here, 33, 34, I can write at the bottom dash 33 to 34, and that is an example of tethering. Now I have tethered 152 to 33-34 and 33 to 152. I can also write here 152. Perfect. Okay. Moving on, I have another brain dump over here. More dailies. This is what the dailies that I really love look like. This is again influenced by Honey Roses. Essentially, you write out a time bar on the side, and then you can kind of mark it according to how often you're doing a particular area of your life. So from 6 or 7 all the way to 12, I spent time on myself, for myself, then I went to work. This is another lovely monthly spread that I did, very word heavy, but I absolutely loved it. I wrote some intentions, I wrote some memories and more memories and some quotes and even like a couple of things that I needed to take note of. And then I just put in some pictures here, and I absolutely love this thing. All right, this is when I use something to look up. So my own signifiers. Perfect. This is a spread about like what stuff I want to buy for next summer. This is an example of a month brain dump of sorts. So things I want for the home, for the fall. Another daily over here. I have another weekly dashboard. September was a daily heavy month. That's good. This is an example of the life wheel and intention spread that I would base out of my happiness spread. So I decided to spend a whole page on it. I started this all the way up to creativity and passion. However, I stopped because it was already toward the end of the year, and I was like, maybe I should just start this spread on my new bullet journal. And that's what I did, and that's what you are going to see in the next few videos. So I asked the same reflective questions that I would for brainstorming on a particular topic, like the YouTube one that I did. So I ask it for each category. And I also rate myself from 1 to 10. How am I feeling? Like, how successful do I think I'm doing? Or I am, sorry. Okay. Next. This is October. Had a bunch of interviews lined up, didn't go to any of them. Okay, this is an example of a very messy weekly, but a very useful one. More dailies, more brain dumps. Another example of my weekly rhythm, but a little bit more elaborate and bigger as well. This was like my intentions on finding a new job in the PR field. I wanted to feel freedom, but see, I didn't really feel freedom going into PR this year. Maybe I will eventually, but not this year. Okay, more dailies. Then I have my November setup. I absolutely love this month's setup. It's so pretty, like the colors are so awesome. This definitely reminds me of my inner child, this picture right here. A lot of work in that. We nurture our creativity when we release our inner child. There you go. And that's what I did this November. This is probably my favorite weekly setup of the entire year. It's because this is after reading Writer's book, The Bullet Journal Method. That's when I wrote this. And reading the book clarified so many things, and it opened my eyes to the bullet journal's possibilities in its simplistic form, without the elaborate stuff, but just the process in itself. So I highly recommend for anyone to read that book. It set me right back on track. Probably be doing a separate video on, again, every element, so my weeklies will be fully explained. They may look a little confusing. Okay, this is an example of some tidbits. So I try to write a line for the day, like to sum up the day. And I did this for the entirety of 2017. So I think I'm going to be doing this again. Next, I have my monthly log. So a couple of things that I wanted to get done in November. I did a lot of them. These are all like the major arcana that I wanted to learn and like study about when it comes to tarot card readings, but I wasn't able to do that, and that's okay. It's kind of just like an extra time thing. This is the dailies that I love. I'm going to be doing more of these types of dailies soon. here in November, I started doing week reflections, and I am definitely going to be doing that every single week moving forward, because it clarifies so many things. It weans out so many distractions that I don't really need to be focusing on, and it keeps me on track. Brain dump on some of my video ideas, another weekly reflection. So November was an amazing month for my bullet journal. Okay guys, so this is December. I fell off track a little bit, but not too much, because I still did a lot of things, and a lot of things related to this YouTube channel. So see, as I said, I did it again. I'll probably go back to this week. And this is the tail end of my notebook. I did a couple of dailies over here. And if I move back, some sample pages at the end. Alright guys, so this is the tail end of my notebook. Sorry, my video camera stopped filming. And that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a couple of things here and there. I know this was a little bit sporadic, but that is the nature of a flip through. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like this video down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit that notification gear to be notified on the next few videos on the series. And comment down below on what you would like to see on my channel, what you found interesting. If you have any questions, please do let me know. I will try my best to respond to all of them. Alright guys, with that being said, all great things start with a healthy mind and a healthy heart. Much love to everybody. Take care. Mwah.